What's up, guys? We are in the midst of the fall season, my favorite time of the year, especially when it comes to fragrances. And I wanted to focus in on the house of Tom Ford. As you can see from the title, we're talking about 8 Tom Ford fragrances for the fall. Now, are these the best Tom Fords that you can wear for the fall? Only if you like them. If you don't, then they're not. But they're the 8 best that I have in my collection. And I'm specifically focusing on fragrances from Tom Ford that you can readily find online today. There's several fragrances I absolutely love that you can't really buy, unfortunately. Stuff like Tobacco Oud, stuff like Plum Japonais. Those are not easy to find because they've been discontinued, so those would not be here, but I'll be wearing those for sure. But instead, we'll have 8 fragrances that are fantastic, and you can find them yourself if you're interested in checking them out, and they will be linked in the description of this video. And that's the whole premise. That's the preamble. It's a short one. Let's dive right into it. This is in no particular order, but I am going to get this obvious one out of the way first. This one is all too perfect for this season. If you want an elegant vibe, this is Oud Wood. This is a total classic. It's been around for a long time, almost 20 years at this point, along with one other fragrance on this list that came in the original private blend collection. And Oud Wood is a smooth, dry, sweet, warm, ambery, spicy, woody fragrance. The oud here is very tame, doesn't really smell like oud, just this slight medicinal quality to it. It's a very soft, woody fragrance, but it's one that does have presence. It doesn't just disappear in a couple hours. If that is your experience, I can't speak for that, but that is not my experience. I get a good 5-6 hours out of this, which is all I need it for in terms of the functions I would wear it for. This is usually evening wear for me, but I could wear it in the daytime as well. It's perfect just when you want to have an elegant vibe. Doesn't have to be overly formal, but definitely a little bit more sophisticated than super casual. That's Oud Wood. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna give this one a spray. I haven't smelled it in some time because I've been saving it for this time of year, and I can't wait to get reacquainted with it. Oh man. Beautiful scent profile. Believe it or not, this is the seminal fragrance that has spawned a collection in which all the fragrances that have come after this original one are more popular than the original one, maybe except for one. This is Noir, and that one that may not be more popular than this is Noir Anthracite. That is one that I wish I appreciated when it came out. I would like to try to find that at some point because I think I'll really dig it now. But Noir is still out there here and there. You can find it on the discounters from time to time. And this is a fragrance that may not be for everyone, but it is lovely stuff. And this is one that I could not appreciate when I first tried it years ago. It was a hate from me. It's kind of like this foggy, fresh, dark, patchouli-based fragrance with a little bit of rose. It's kind of ambery and sweet, but there is this foggy, cooling quality to it. It's hard to describe. It's like being at like a very somber cemetery at night and there's fog. That does not sound like a pleasant time at all, but trust me, it is elegant, it is mysterious, it's a beautiful scent profile that smells confident without being overstated. It is an odd fragrance, but it's going to be great for these chilly times. That is Tom Ford Noir Eau de Parfum. And this fragrance would not exist if it were not for the original Noir. We have Noir Extreme Parfum. I used to own the original Noir Extreme Eau de Parfum. I regrettably sold that because I had people telling me it smelled like a smoker in a Vegas casino. I wish I didn't listen to them. So I got rid of it. And I have thought about getting it back, but since I have this, I don't think I will get it back because I think it'd be redundant. I wore this just the other night and man, I thoroughly enjoyed this stuff. It's sexy, it's seductive, masculine in this rich, sweet way. I get an ambery vanilla. It has that kulfi note, which is this interesting, nutty, dessert-like quality to the scent. There's a roughness here that's a little bit more rough around the edges than the original. I don't know if it's a leather note, but there's something about it in the base of it that feels a little bit more substantial, more textural than the original. It's just great for a night out. This is nighttime vibes for sure when it's a chilly night, and it's pretty strong. You don't need much of it. I think I rocked about 4 sprays and that was more than enough for several hours. That is Noir Extreme Parfum. If we're going to talk about the fall, we have to talk about the Fougere. It's a rule. I don't make the rules. And the first of 2 Fougeres I'm going to share with you is Beau de Jour. At one time, this was my favorite Fougere from the house. It's still phenomenal. I still really enjoy it, but I like one of them a little bit more. Some of you guys already know what it is, and it's up next. But Beau de Jour is such a classic take on the genre. It is that barbershop style fragrance that is clean smelling with lots of soapy lavender, but in this case, it is more dry and woody and bottom heavy with a lot of moss. Lots of moss in here, lots of woods. It just gets drier and drier as it dries on the skin. A lot of amber in here, so this warm sweetness that comes out more as it dries down. It's a powerful scent. It does smell a little bit like Davidoff Zeno, which is a classic from the mid 80s. To me, it smells more substantial than that and maybe a little bit more modernized, but not by much. There is a classic vintage flair to this, so do keep that in mind. Some people might find this to smell a little bit more mature, but that's going to be up to your taste. If you want a fragrance that has people taking you seriously, that you can dress up during the daytime or the nighttime for a more elegant occasion, but still smell like a classic man, this is one to check out, Beau de Jour. And the Fougere that I prefer just a little bit to Beau de Jour is Fougere D'Argent. I don't know what it is about this. It is a simpler scent profile. It's more stripped down than Beau de Jour, but it just speaks to me in a way that I cannot describe. I don't have the words, but it's warmer, it's cozier, woodier, less clean smelling. The lavender is still here, but it's less pronounced, and there is this cashmere-like woodiness to the scent that is smooth but textural all at the same time. It just has a seductive quality. It just smells like a sexier take on the barbershop Fougere. It smells more evening forward, if you're asking me. I love this fragrance. This is a 10 out of 10 from me, and I can't tell you why. I don't have the words. That's Fougere D'Argent. Let me know how you feel about it. I cannot wait to wear this fragrance a whole lot more as it gets colder. Man, this stuff rocks my socks.
I hate that phrase.
I don't know why I said that. Ébène Fumé. Man, this is beautiful. Those of you guys who've taken my recommendation and checked this out, hopefully by way of a sample, have come back to me and said, man, you were right. This stuff is beautiful. Now, if you haven't tried it yet and you do try it, am I saying you're gonna love it? There's no guarantee, but I love this stuff. This is smoky Palo Santo wood. There's something kind of meditative about it. Definitely smoky and dark woods, dry, embering, spicy, but there's this warm, sweet, resinous feel as it dries. It's tucked away in there at first for sure. And what I do love is that there's a bit of an approachability with the scent when you first spray it on by way of violet leaf, giving a little bit of a freshness. Some people call it like cucumber. I get what they mean by that. There is a touch of that. If you know Dior Fahrenheit, you'll get a little bit of that in the opening, just a hint, but it dries until those smoky woods and those resins, and it just has a lot of character to it. It has a specific personality. There's not a ton of elements happening, but what is happening here gives it a recognizable face that smells incredible on the skin and in the air, especially in the evening and especially when it's a little bit more chilly. And I find this stuff to be incredibly strong on my skin. That is Ébène Fumé. We've got another classic from 2007 from the original release of the Private Blend collection. We have Tuscan Leather. I don't need to say much about it. If for some reason you haven't tried it, that's a little weird, but that's okay. I'm gonna leave a Decant link in the description with a little discount code. I do believe Decant X carries this, so you can try it for yourself if you've been sleeping on it for some reason. This is one of the most iconic leather fragrances ever created. It's a harsh, brash, slightly ashy leather with a sweet raspberry, some spicy saffron. It's so definitive. You might not love it. If you do, you'll really love it. If you don't, you may never go near it again, and that's okay. I've always been intrigued by Tuscan Leather. I didn't love it at first, but I didn't hate it. I was just very intrigued by it. Now I really love this stuff, and I think it's great for fall. Let me know if you dig it. And our final fragrance is a bit of an oddball. You would not really think of this as a fall fragrance, but I think this is the perfect fall aquatic fragrance. This is Oud Minerale. This is the new version that came out in 2023. I also have an older version from a few years ago that was discontinued. They've rebottled it in this new signature collection edition, and it is a smoky aquatic. It is smoky, salty, almost like a seaweed vibe. Definitely woody and watery, but dry. There's a dry darkness to this while still being wet and aquatic. It's kind of odd, but it works. And I think its dry smokiness is what lends it to a cooler temperature, lends it to the fall season. It does have this enigmatic vibe. It smells like mysterious elegance, lends itself to the evening, lends itself to being dressed up a little bit more. And even though it might smell weird to you up close, if you put it on your skin or on a blotter and you smell it up close, you might be like, this is, who's gonna like this? But you'd be surprised when this stuff is in the air. For some reason, I know some of you guys can attest to this, people like it. They're drawn to it, especially when you dress it up. So sample first if you haven't tried it yet. Again, links down below. But if you have tried this, let me and everyone else know what you think of Oud Minerale. All right, those are my picks for fall in terms of Tom Ford. I would love to know what you think of these fragrances if you've tried them. And if you want to see another video like this focusing on a different brand, let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.